This is a video about the IELTS Writing Task 2 checklist. So basically, this checklist goes through everything I've taught you in Writing Class 1 and Writing Class 2. And it's a long checklist, but make sure you go through this in every writing task that you do, so that you are pretty much prepared for the exam itself. Okay, let's just go through this checklist. Okay, for the introduction, if I paraphrase the T, okay, the beginning of Writing Class 1, I taught you that each question could be divided into a T and a Q. So T is the topic, normally is the first sentence, and so the way you are going to write the first sentence of your introduction is to paraphrase the T, the topic part of the question. All right, go back to what I taught you in Writing Class 1, pretty much in the first hour or so. The first thing I address is all this T and Q. So you ask yourself, have you paraphrased the T? Have I written the thesis statement, which sentence, which is the second sentence of the introduction? So as you know, depending on whether the question is an opinion question or whether it is an expository question, you would need to write a thesis in a different way. So if it's an opinion question, you would, as is mentioned here, if any of the Q is an opinion question, is the position clearly stated? Okay, the position has to be stated every time you have an opinion question, or at least one question, one part of the question is addressing is an opinion in nature. You have to write it and you have to state your position clearly in introduction, and later on you see also you have to state it in a conclusion. Okay, if it's not an opinion question, you still have to address it somehow. For example, if the question is what are the advantages and disadvantages of whatever, a thesis for that, because this is not an opinion question, they're just asking you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages, then you would say something like, well, while this offers a few advantages, there are also several disadvantages which are worth considering, or something like that. Okay, I've given you all the phrases in the notes and phrases, okay, the 18 pages. Now, if you follow very clearly all those notes, a lot of this will be you don't really have to worry about all some of these questions. Okay, some parts of the checklist, because it really, in my notes, I already teach you how to structure it. I already tell you to do the paraphrasing. I tell you to state the position, etc., etc. So if you follow the notes, a lot of this you will need to worry about, right? So have I written the thesis sentence? And then the next one would be, thus the thesis sentence addressed the Q and the S, any special features, SFs. I taught you SF meaning special features. Can you make sure it is addressed in the question? Make sure it's addressed throughout the essay also. Okay, and I already stated this just now, which is that if the Q, the question is opinion, make sure it's clearly stated in the introduction. You're going to state it basically in the thesis. Okay, body. Does the essay have 2 or 3 body paragraphs? So I've taught you a 2 or 3 body paragraph essay, which is a 4 or 5 paragraph essay. All right, only 2 out of my 4 types of essay question types will, I recommend that you use the 3 body paragraphs. The one, first of all, it's the opinion question. Secondly, it's the advantages and disadvantages opinion question. Okay, so again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it means that you haven't been paying attention, you haven't been reading through the notes. All right, so you have to understand, firstly, is this a 2 or 3 body paragraphs? That's why I got you to do so many questions for homework at the end of the Writing Class 1, to get you to analyze a question. All right, and I also have a video for you guys to go through your answers. So if you're still not sure, should I write about a 2 body or 3 body paragraph essay, then basically you need to go through everything we've learned in Class 1, and you need to go through the videos. Okay, if it has a 2 body paragraph, if it has 2 body paragraphs, does each body paragraph have 2 main points? All right, let me just quickly bring up an essay. So this is one of the essays I got you to, we went through all this. Okay, this is the advantages and disadvantages expository version, which is 1A according to my categories. Okay, out of the 4, it is 1A. As this is the introduction, which is the paraphrase, and then the thesis. This is a thesis, which is it's just a thesis stating the fact that you're going to talk about advantages and disadvantages. There's no opinion here because this is not an opinion question. Then this is two body paragraphs. All right. You first discuss the advantages, then the disadvantages. So here says does each body paragraph have 2 main points? Okay, so you have 2 main points: the first advantage, second advantage, the first advantage, the second advantage. And does each main point have 2 or 3 supporting sentences? Okay, each one, remember I mentioned you should have 2 or 3 supporting sentences. Okay, and then, or if it has 3 body paragraphs, which is, as I mentioned, there are 2 essay questions which require, at least in the way I teach, it requires 3 body paragraphs. One is the opinion question, and the other one is the advantages and disadvantages opinion, right? So here you have a opinion question, and this is where you have 3 body paragraphs, 1, 2, 3. So if it has 3 body paragraphs, does each body paragraph have 1 main point? And does each body paragraph have 1 main point? And does each main point have 3 to 4 supporting sentences? So each body paragraph will have 1 main point. Remember here you have 2 body paragraphs and each have 2. Here you have 3 body paragraphs, each have 1. So you just have 1 main point, which is same as your topic sentence, 1 main point, and 3 or 4 supporting sentences. Okay, 3 or 4 versus 2 or 3. Okay, then have I fully used the FTI-REAR technique in my supporting sentences? Okay, I've given you REAR, reason, example, addition, result. So use those cohesive devices, conjunctions, etc., adverbs, to give reasons, examples, additional points, and results. And make sure you use some of the power result verbs also. Okay, and I mentioned you should use a if, at least one. Everybody should use a if. It's a good conjunction to use to talk about a result, and you should use at least 2 or 3 power result verbs. Okay, I think I've got 18 in the list. Okay, is there a clear central topic within each paragraph? Okay, because this is part of the criteria. Now, if you follow this topic sentence is your clear central topic. You're basically saying here, oh, there are 2 main benefits. This whole paragraph are about 2 main benefits, and then this whole paragraph are about drawbacks. Okay, and if it's your 3 body paragraph essay, this first main point, it serves as your topic sentence because you only have 1 point, right? You only have 1 point, so this is your central topic. Okay, the first sentence is always the central topic, telling you what the whole paragraph is about. Is there a topic sentence for each body paragraph? Yeah. Okay, so this one, there's a topic sentence here. The main point is actually the topic sentence. Why is the main point the topic sentence? Because the whole paragraph only has 1 point. So when you introduce the main point, that is what the whole paragraph is about. Whereas here you have a additional, you realize we don't go to the main point straight away. We have an additional kind of like introduction. Okay, I'm going to introduce you. This paragraph is going to be about benefits. Why do we do that? Why do we have this little introduction sentence? Why don't we just go directly to the first main point? We have this little introduction sentence because the whole paragraph is about 2 benefits, not just 1. All right, so if you just, you could just have a little introduction. Okay, now is there a topic sentence for each body paragraph? You have gone through that. Do the body paragraphs address the T, Q, and SF? Okay, so basically your whole body has to address all of this. All right, take note of the SF, that if there's any special features, you make sure you address that. If not, you are not addressing the whole point, right? You are not addressing all parts of the task, right? Does the conclusion contain just 2 components? Remember we talked about 3. As the 3 components is especially for an opinion-based essay. where you restate your opinion, then you summarize, and then you give your maybe a recommendation, but you don't want it to be too long, so just have two components, okay? Either as I've written here, either restate position and summarize, or restate and recommend and give a recommendation, okay? Don't make it too long. It's a conclusion, not too long. So if you just have two components, it won't be too long. If any of the questions or opinion questions is the position clearly stated as mentioned, if it's an opinion question, you state your position in the introduction and the conclusion, right? Is the essay at least 250 words? If there is a cue that is an opinion, is the position clear and consistent throughout the essay, okay? So you have to be clear and consistent. That's the reason why I recommend for those of you, I recommend that all of you write a complete position, complete one-sided position for opinion essays, so it's very clear, okay? Don't do half, all right? Have I used sufficient cohesive devices? Okay, basically, if you use this, you would have used sufficient cohesive devices to signal the start of a main point. If you go through my notes, you already would signal the start, like firstly, in addition. That signals, it's a very clear signal that this is the start, all right? To connect one idea in one sentence to another idea in another sentence. All right, to connect one idea to another, okay, one sentence to another idea, just like if we use cohesive devices. As a result, these are certain, therefore these are connecting idea in one sentence to another, or to connect one idea to another within a sentence, okay? It could be like when you use a conjunction, you're connecting, for example, S, this is connecting this idea, and S means because, to this idea, okay, within the sentence. Okay, so make sure you use cohesive devices. Underline them to see if there's a sufficient number of them. Grammar, okay, all this is basically what I've taught you in writing class 2. Are there any mistakes related to subject-verb agreement, tenses, punctuation of adverbs and conjunctions, plural nouns, modal verbs, articles, passive voice? Are there any mistakes related to sentence structure? Have I used a variety of complex sentences? Okay, not every single sentence too long, but not simple sentences. Not all simple sentences either. A mixture of them, and some complex sentences. Complex sentences means one of the easiest ways is to use a conjunction, okay? Mistakes related to word class, countable, uncountable, spelling. Did you paraphrase? Okay, it's very important to paraphrase, going all the way here. And not just paraphrase, but paraphrase every, if you just avoid too much repetition, okay? Through paraphrasing, using the SWAG formula, as I gave you. Have I used less common words? All right. Have I used topic vocabulary? Topic vocabulary are words that related to that topic, okay? So you don't want to just use words which are so general that these words can be used for any topic, but you want to show, for example, if you talk about the essay is related to studying overseas, then if you say something like culture shock, all right, it's a good phrase, because you use this phrase culture shock when you're talking about going overseas and living in a new place and a new culture. All right, so that's important too. Are there any vocabulary mistakes related to collocations and word patterns? Okay, so as you can see, all these are the things you will have to work on. A lot of things, but I've taught you almost every one of them.